Faster than writing to a letter forum. More thoughtful than angry clickbait. Able to discuss the world's first superhero and comics film, TV, and more. It's the Supermaniacs, and I'm super excited. We're going to be talking about Absolute Superman, one of the best Superman comics coming out right now, specifically issues 7 through 12. And I'm going to be discussing these with Mike. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, especially since this is also my second time reading these as well. And knowing what happens made it way more interesting knowing. Because, goddamn, there's a lot of more foreshadowing than I realized.
Yeah, and
for obvious things.
Now that I guess the larger story of Absolute Superman is starting to take shape, it looks like we might be in for a long ride. It seems like Jason Aaron has ideas, and a lot of this is very foundational to something big he's cooking up.
Yeah, and it helps that we have confirmation that unlike the Ultimate Universe that is supposed to have an ending, the Absolute Universe is like, we are just going to go as long as we want. Like, this is a new universe. This isn't going to be like, and then everything was happy, and then we wave them goodbye type of thing. It's like, no, this is an ongoing comic, all of these, and they will stay that way.
Yeah, so I guess we should also mention that New York Comic Con just happened over the weekend, and I have not had much time to catch up on all of the comic book news, anything Marvel or DC or anything else really that came out of there. Only thing I kept up with was the Star Trek news for my other podcast, the Star Trek one.
Yeah,
but
there's a little bit of Absolute news. Not only stuff that I found through.
You just said the biggest thing though is that they there's no plans to wrap up the Absolute Universe. It is currently an ongoing collection of ongoing series.
It's not going to be like, and then Darkseid died and the universe became a happy-go-lucky type of thing, and everything was great forever. It's like, no, these are the universes. This is what's going to happen. We have no plans. It's like they are outright saying this is the ultimate DC universe, and it's going to be the way the old one, the Ultimate Universe was, which is that, as far as we know, this will be continuing until the end of time.
Or maybe a decade or two, but in comics that's an eternity as quickly as things can change.
Look, as long as we don't get absolute what the fuck was the name of that story where everybody died at once? Ultimatum? Was that what it's called?
Oh yeah, Ultimatum.
Absolute Ultimatum. Somebody's gonna eat Catwoman or something.
I guess well, DC was even worse. They did like Heroes in Crisis as like a big like mass murder event, and they did that in like their main universe in continuity. So
and they retconned that so hard it was hilarious.
I mean, someone needed to, so thank God. But
yeah, they literally, I think they spent an entire Flash story bringing everyone who died back to life. It was hysterical.
But we're not here to talk about that nonsense. We got an actual good DC comic to discuss. So we previously talked about issues 1 through 6. People can check that out. But the first story arc of Absolute Superman, promoted as Dust of Krypton, and the second story, Son of the Demon, referencing the big bad of Absolute Superman, Ra's al Ghul, was introduced in issue 6, the last issue of Absolute Superman we discussed. But that was how like that first story arc kind of ended, was with the establishing like, oh, this evil corporation that's controlling all the strings and seems to be behind everything going wrong on this earth. That is the absolute Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, it was all set up, just a shit ton of setup. Which wasn't bad things, because it's a lot of setting up what happened to Krypton, what type of person Kal-El was before he left Krypton, and what type of world he found when he got there, or when he got to Earth, as well as some of his motivations here and there, as well as just like you said, we found out what Lazarus is, and then by the time it was done, we found out that there's a lot more going on between Lazarus and its resistance team, the Omega Men. Because we met Jimmy, right, at that point. And so Jimmy and Lois are all part of this, but they're not Daily Planet workers.
Yeah, everyone is there, but no one is where they should be. Like they're all present, but they're not in the familiar roles we want to see them in.
Yeah, there's small like hints of who they are throughout that one, which I really thought was fun. And then the this one, God, let's start with issue 7. Issue 7 is one of the most horrifying things I've ever read in a Superman comic.
Hmm. But yeah, the Brainiac issue.
Yes, this is the Brainiac issue. Even the cover is horrifying because it's like these a bunch of bottled stuff, cities, monsters, and like one that's just on fire with people screaming for help, and you're just like, what am I going to get into? And then, goddamn, and then like this opening sequence essentially is just so fucked, like right away.
Right, so it opens on an Omega Man mission, the kind of the anti-fascist, the like the terrorist, the whatever you want to call them, the people that have been fighting Lazarus that Jimmy Olsen is teamed up with, but they have a strike force going into this Area 51 type base in Nevada that they've shown us previously. This is where Brainiac is working out of, and they seem to have some cool tech, in and of themselves. They have some type of like telepathic comm system.
Oh.
They're communicating just by thought balloons to each other.
Yeah, when it says synchronizing cortexes, I had forgotten that's how they talk to each other. So it's like, yeah, it's all so no one can like overhear them on accident
Yeah.
type thing, and then that doesn't go well for them as it turns out.
Yeah, instead they just have a kind of a parade of violent deaths, each one more horrible than the previous.
I forgot how he did it because they get there, and then Brainiac starts talking to them after not I forgot that it wasn't that he melted his skin, is he shrank his skin, meaning Brainiac's using the shrinking technology in weird ways that you wouldn't have thought of. Some of them I'm still not sure how he used them. The first guy he does, yeah, he makes the skin just rip because the skin just shrinks on him, and I thought it was really funny because, or not funny, but I thought the interesting thing was that his screams are in his mind, but not like in his like actual voice type of thing. Like when he's screaming, it's all in like from his mind screaming. And then Brainiac just saying, "I shrank his skin." And you're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then I didn't realize I forgot that all he does is he just like shrinks things on them. Like one guy says, "I don't have any more I don't have muscles," so I guess he shrank like his muscle system or something.
Yeah, one guy starts. He's like, I think I'm vomiting up my bones, and then he starts puking bones, which I guess
It's
was also.
it's horrific. Like what is he shrinking to cause that one? That's the one that I'm like, I don't know what the hell you did to that guy, because that guy is vomiting all of his bones. And
But
it's so fucked.
But this is also the first time we get like the full reveal of Brainiac. Before we just kind of seen glimpses of him in the shadows, and then we actually get like the full on body reveal of the what I've seen people refer to as the Darth Maul from Clone Wars version of Brainiac with the robot legs.
That is the best description I've ever heard of this Brainiac. Yeah, because he because he's a crazy person because he the last guy he doesn't kill the last guy. He enlarges the man's hand, and then I guess enlarges viruses or something
Yeah,
to attack him.
like he's getting attacked by a lot of like enlarged COVID viruses or something. It's
And then the entire time Brainiac is just thinking the way like, when you ask your Google what the morning is, and he's just like, well, the sun set at 6:44 today, and it's approximately 35 degrees Celsius outside. And you're just like, what is happening? He just murdered, and then he just goes, and also I just killed like 3 guys, and I maimed another, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, then we get this one poor bastard who's left alive, who is just kind of forced to suffer in Brainiac's lab and listen to his villain monologues, and I guess his origin story that we get in here. But This is a very unstable Brainiac. He's like a Brainiac variant might be a good way to think about him using some Spider Verse terminology.
Well, what's interesting about this Brainiac is I'm so used to every Brainiac we've ever seen, and I mean every single Brainiac ever made, has just been a normal guy, or not normal guy. He's a guy who's very cold, calculated, knows what they're doing, like is very much like this is like like he's very much like Superman. You'll never defeat my supreme intellect type of guy. Like it's like the Riddler would fight him. Type like he's like a fancy Riddler usually, is he's always like cold and calculated, sort of thing.
Yeah, he's
And
like the sci-fi alien version of Riddler.
yeah, and this Brainiac is like, what if Charlie Kelly was a Brainiac? is one way I would put it, because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's just sort of saying things and just being creepy all the time, and just like it's clear he's not right in the head. The closest one to this Brainiac I could ever even think of is that one in Harley Quinn season 5, but even that Brainiac was more sane than this Brainiac is.
And he has all of these poor miniature shrunken cities that we've seen before in some of the earlier issues. But yeah, they have all these tiny little dialogue balloons coming out of the cities, like please free us or please let it end. And you get the impression that he's just regularly like torturing these things, or like he'll occasionally throw them down on the ground and then stomp on them with his robot legs.
Yeah, he's using them like Google search basically. Like he's like, none of you motherfuckers know what any of this means. Like, you know who this guy is, you don't know who this guy is. He grabs one person, he grabs one city and just threatens to murder everyone and their children, and then does it anyways. After they say we don't know what you're talking about. And then the worst part is that we see that they're like, they survived the crash, like the crashing of the bottle, and some of them start getting in ships and try to fly away.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we're free, we can get the fuck out of here. And Brainiac's just like, I'm a tall fucking crazy dude with his. This is the other thing about this Brainiac. The top of his head is missing. It's just brain. Like he's giving himself brain surgery willy-nilly when he wants to.
Yeah, there's one panel where he's I guess the thing that has him confused right now is he's trying to figure out how do I deal with the Superman problem? What's the answer to this equation? And there's one panel where you see him like scratching the top of his head, but he's like scratching his brain, because there is no top of his head. Like from his eyebrows up, it's all brain.
It's all gone, and he talks about, like, because he gets angry at the city. He's like, well, I've tried carving out my like anger side of my brain. I'm like, this dude is clearly just insane. Like, there's no part of, you would have to take out his entire brain to maybe get out whatever insane shit he is. And the fact that he's just using this guy as a sounding board, who he's taken his brain out of, put in a jar above the body, type of thing. This guy's in like pieces. Like, there's nothing this guy can do other than listen to Brainiac talk about himself. And then we get a very interesting origin story for Brainiac, which is that I didn't think about this until I reread it. Brainiac has a very similar story almost to Cal, which is that he starts off as a lonely, like low level thing.
Yeah, he's a working class Brainiac.
Yeah, he's woken up because I guess they're all clones of each of whatever Brainiac 1 is, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't say exactly when it is. It just says many years earlier.
It doesn't even say like this Brainiac never even calls himself Brainiac 1, because we find out eventually about some of the Brainiacs. And he just goes like, well, anybody below the level of like 88 isn't allowed to think about anything outside of your job description. And it's, well, what level am I? He's like, oh, you're 0, dude. Here's a shovel, and I need you to just throw all these dead Brainiacs in that sludge for all eternity. Because he's just like, well, when does my shift end? He's like, shift? Fuck you. Like, you're here forever, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, so you get the impression he's like in the bowels of the spaceship, and for whatever reason, when they beam in the dead bodies, and this guy has to shovel them around. But I guess The Brainiac of this universe, he's the Kaluan version. He's, the green-skinned alien from the planet Kolu, if I'm saying it right.
You think they would just have robots to do this, which was what makes using a
Hmm.
clone of yourself that much more fucked up
But it
to
seems
do
like
something like this.
that's how like this Brainiac operates. Like he makes copies of himself to do everything, and like if he's fighting a war, he's gonna do it with like a bunch of soldiers that are clones of himself. And it is eventually how like this Brainiac will, I guess, try to emulate that style.
Yeah, because this Brainiac gets attacked by a murder Brainiac, as what literally this Brainiac seems to
Yeah,
be saying. My entire function is to murder, and that's when he first gets. I think this is what's really truly starts this version of Brainiac's turn, because he gets stabbed in the head when that happens. Like I didn't realize, I forgot that the first time, because he just has a knife sticking out of his brain when he kills the murder Brainiac.
yeah. A little brain damage explains a lot about this guy.
Yeah, because it says day 13,000, and you can start seeing that his head is open now, and he's got wires sticking out of it at this point. And I guess it's to keep himself from dying or something. It's never really sure what it is that he's been doing to himself outside of that. He's made dummies out of dead brainiacs to have quote unquote friends, which is really creepy.
Right. But he's trying to replicate a council of Brainiacs. So he has all these dead Brainiac corpses, kind of like posed like scarecrows that he can. The same thing he's doing to this poor Omega Man guy that he's torturing, where he can just like go have like these conversations. Because yeah, other than that, he doesn't have like any contact, any interaction with anyone.
Yeah, and so I did the math. It turns out that this, because it mentions the days that he's there, and so at day 49,901, there's finally nothing. He's done his job. There's no more refuse appearing, and I did the math based on the days. He was by himself for 136 years minimum. Like, and so this man was clearly insane to begin with, and he gets out, and there's nothing. There's a bunch of bottled cities already that are there. These clone Brainiacs that were not woken up, and I think the implication is that the original Brainiac of the ship shot himself.
Yeah, like whatever conflict he was involved in, whatever he was dealing with that was forcing him to cycle through clones of himself so fast. He lost. He shot himself. He's like alone in the captain's chair of this Brainiac skull spaceship.
Yeah, and then so I love this. I love this realization Brainiac has. He's like, well, if I'm not, you're no more. You're just refuse, and there's no one else here. And that means by default, I am now Brainiac one. I am now the guy, and it's fucking crazy because at that point, all he's done is he went across the universe, stealing cities and like just fucking with his body, because it's not like it cuts to him saying like, and then I just kept changing my body over time. No, he just is just like, yeah, I just went around doing stuff, and then eventually I found myself, you know, here, I guess. Like he doesn't even really say that either. Like we don't really know how Raish came about finding Brainiac. Like there's a hint at it later on in one of the other issues, but he talks about how he's like maybe it was better if he hadn't left it, but if he didn't, he wouldn't be, because if he hadn't left it, he wouldn't be a super fucked up guy. But and everybody else wouldn't have to deal with it. But then he wouldn't. He feels like he would. There'd be no fun in that. Like he just talks in weird circles about how insane he is, and then the reveal that he can call other Brainiacs if he wants to, and he just does it normally. This is the thing that makes him so. This is the thing that the other thing that makes him so much like Kal-El, because he was by himself for a long time. Except that Cal didn't go crazy, Brainiac did, and then the other thing is that when he calls the other Brainiacs, he's like he doesn't know what to do. He's like kind of soft spoken about it because they're like who called this? He's like, why? I called this meeting, and they're like, who said that? Which one of you said that? He's like I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the one who called you guys. And they're like, who the fuck are you?
And this kind of confused me the first time I read it because I was like, "Oh, is he talking to like other Brainiacs in other universes?" And like, they're doing because Brainiac has dabbled with multiverse stuff in a lot of previous DC stories. But I guess just within the absolute universe, there were other Brainiacs that I guess kind of had like their own ship, their own operation, as it were. And we see like it's kind of interesting. Like you see like the different variations. Like there's a gender bent Brainiac. We have like a lady Brainiac. We have some that are more robot-y, some that are more alien-y. But yeah, they're like clearly like he's like the reject Brainiac. Like he's the weird one with brain damage who was originally never meant to do anything more than shovel trash, and now he's got like the keys to the spaceship, and he's able to like contact the rest of the Brainiacs and have these Council of Brainiac meetings.
Yeah, he's like the son of the franchise owner, kind of thing. Like like
Yeah.
whenever it's like like it's all Brainiac, like Burger Kings basically, and then like one of the original owner died, and now it's like the dumbass son, and
Yeah, he just inherited all of this stuff.
and nobody knows who he is because he's never tried calling them before this is clearly, and so and like I said, I love that the Brainiacs are different because some of them are number based, some of them are like letter based. My favorite is this is Brainiac untranslatable wailing sound, meaning like he doesn't have like a normal way of speaking. And he's like, "Hey, could you guys tell me who Superman is?" And they're like, "What?" That's my favorite part because they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about? This is stupid. You're stupid."
But this is where he learns about Krypton and kryptonite.
Yeah, it seems I think it's the gender bent Brainiac that seems to know this too. She's the only one that takes him seriously, and I'm assuming it's because of the fact that she probably isn't normally taken seriously either. And she just gives him. She's like, "Yeah, I visited Krypton one time for the fuck of it after it exploded," because he's like, "Well, what is it?" He's like, "Well, Krypton was a place. It existed. We didn't give a fuck about it. Nobody ever left, so we didn't have any reason to even think they were smart enough to talk to." Type of thing. And so we just left them alone, and then they exploded. And then I was bored one day and I went and got some samples, and here's the data. There's the data for my samples. And Brainiac's able to create kryptonite. He essentially 3D prints kryptonite because it's not like they teleport kryptonite there. And I like though before he leaves, everybody's like, "So who are you?" Because they generally don't know who the fuck he is. It's just
Yeah.
it's
Like they're like, wait a minute. Which one of us Brainiacs summoned us all here again? And
yeah, it's like if I called the FBI, like me myself called the FBI and was like, "Hey, I need files on like Jim Smith or something," and then somebody gave them to me and went like, "Wait, so who are you, or what agency are you with?" Click. Like that's basically what he did, and it's kind of really funny that way. And Brainiac, once again kills the guy, and it's revealed that he has his own clones himself, and that he's got a plan to take down Superman. Although, and then he also has like a fucked up planner because like again, it starts out the ending is like him talking about his normal the way a Google will tell you your itinerary. Because I love this part where he says, "Well, at 8:35, I will command one of my Brainiacs to immolate themselves. So I may spend 3 minutes watching them die." Like he says it like he's watching Netflix later, type of thing.
And I like that the juxtaposition here with Kal-El is that whereas Cal has what some of us lefties would refer to as class consciousness and
Yes.
like an awareness of like, oh yeah, here are other working class people that I don't want to see them exploited either. But this asshole, this Brainiac, like, okay, he was born, he was handed a shovel. He was told, okay, get to work, taking out the trash. And then when he gets like a moment to break free from that system, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to be the exploiter now. I'm going to be the guy who has like a bunch of little minions that are enslaved to work for me."
Yeah, he becomes the system that he escaped from like on an accident. Like you think like he got a taste of the high life. And he's like, "Well, now this is my life. I'm not gonna suffer anymore." Even though he's clearly suffering because he's fucking with his body to the point that he looks like, as you mentioned, Darth Maul in the second half of Clone Wars. And then because it reveals that after that he's been cybernetically enhancing Peacemaker or Christopher Smith Peacemaker, Like he's kind of like making a Metallo almost, except he's not
Yeah,
powered by
they
by kryptonite.
up until episode 12 they still have not called him Metallo, but you even mentioned this previously though when we were talking about the first 6 issues, is that like that does seem to be where they're going, that it looks like Christopher Smith Peacemaker is going to become absolute Metallo.
Yeah, he feels like an absolute Metallo, except he's not. Sorry, he's not powered by kryptonite anyway. Because as we know, because this issue ends with him being like, "Well, I'm sending you to Kansas with all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff," and he's made kryptonite bullets for him.
Yeah, he's not powered by kryptonite, but he's certainly armed with it.
Yeah, and so he's like, "Well, I'm going to send you there," and then that's how that issue ends. And you're just sitting there, just creeped the fuck out by this guy the entire time. But I couldn't. I was fascinated the whole time, and reading it a second time, I was happy to see the parallels between him and Kal-El. Like you said, Kal-El is very conscious of who he is, where he came from. He's the epitome of never forget where you came from, Kal-El. Where Brainiac is the epitome of I got mine type of thing.
Yeah.
except although we know like that's not entirely true in some ways too later on, as we find out. But I like this because it shows this next issue is that Cal goes back to Krypton, or not Krypton, to Smallville. But I like this opening a lot, even though it's super fucked up.
But it's the first time we get a sense of who absolute Ra's al Ghul is.
Yeah, it's he's so much different than normal Ra's, because normal Ra's is like a tough guy, but he's always been like this very. He always seemed like a nobleman, you know what I mean? Like a nobleman who's just kind of like, and he loves swords. He's just like, I'm the fancy guy who's like, I'm guard detective.
Yeah, he has like a bit of like an aristocraticness to him.
Yeah, he doesn't like being the one to get his hands dirty as well. Is the other thing about Ra's, at least up until a point. But this Ra's al Ghul is more like Vandal Savage.
Yeah, to the point to where I was wondering, like, at one point, were they going to make this absolute Vandal Savage and then, like, last minute changed it to Ra's al Ghul? Because, I mean, that's kind of who he looks like. He looks like a big, Neanderthal caveman type guy in a business suit.
Yeah, and then the thing that's interesting about him is he's not that old based on what he's saying. He's saying that he started his company like 200 years ago, which in the span of Ra's al Ghul's is not very long ago. Type of thing. Most Ra's al Ghul's are very much like, well, I've been alive for thousands of years because of the Lazarus pits type of thing, where he's been around for like since what, the 30s or something. Hold on, let me see.
Well, Martha Kent at one point said that the guy who ran Lazarus is rumored to be over 100 years old.
But he's been around since the 1800s at least.
But yeah, that's when he started the company.
Yeah.
And built Metropolis. He said that like he was like laid the railroads in the city of tomorrow.
Yeah, he made Metropolis what it is today, which makes him very much like normal Lex Luthor. Although Lex has never been shown in this storyline, at least we finally saw Lex, recently, but it's outside of this. And but what's funny about it is that he's getting attacked immediately by the Omega Men. Like the Omega Men have somehow snuck into his penthouse and are doing a hell of a fight. Like they're stabbing him in the arms and like fucking him up, but he's like slaughtering these guys while taking a business call.
He's on a conference call with the instead of the League of Shadows, they're the League of Shareholders.
Yeah, it's really funny because he's just like, hey guys, profits are up, I'm killing this guy. Like he's doing the only way it would be funnier is if he had a PowerPoint presentation going on wherever they were at the same time as him doing this, like talking percentages and stuff. That would have been really funny. But he talks about himself, like he's like, yeah, I started this company from the ground up, and I've always kept an eye on Lazarus and making the railroad to create the city of tomorrow, as he's like murdering these people. And then he does something that caught me the fuck off guard, which is it turns out he just has Lazarus fluids inside of his house or his building.
Yeah, it's
And
like a purple liquid here. It's
yeah,
normally green though, right? Like in the comics, it's the Lazarus pits are normally
yeah,
green.
because it's like a netherworldly, like
Yeah,
gross thing. Like it's supposed to be magical looking.
but
Where
Absolute Universe
this looks like
colors are a little off.
the purple slime from Ghostbusters type of thing.
Yeah, we have
And
purple Lazarus and red Krypton, but
he turns one of these assassins into a child, like not a child, a baby, a literal baby.
yeah,
And
it
he's talking about like,
gives him the
hey,
Lazarus bath.
yeah, and he's talking about like, we will save this overpopulated planet with the help of Project Brainiac. I'm assuming he's keeping the fact that Brainiac is a is a being secret
You
from
know,
everyone.
everyone else seems to think that it's just an algorithm. It's just AI.
Yeah, because the people from the last one, when they got there, they assumed there was supposed to be like servers that they were going to destroy. And he talks about how he's called the Demon's Head, but he likes to be called the God's Head instead. And he then just throws a baby out of a window. And I was like, what the fuck? Oh my god, what the fuck?
No, no, yeah, he like throws it like off of his balcony, and then he leans over and watches the baby fall to its death.
Yeah, and he's like just talking about all this stuff. He's like, well, Lazarus means salvation. Lazarus means sustainability and the power of sacrifice. Lazarus means hope, and it's got this great shot of like Metropolis. You see the Daily Planet exists. So maybe Perry White's a thing down in this place. But this is the only time so far we've seen Metropolis in any shape, way, or form.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fascinating because of the fact that Ra's al Ghul is based in Metropolis. And it's not like a Luthor Corp building or even a Star Labs type of situation. Like he's a businessman. He's a Wayne Enterprise ass motherfucker, and that's fucking weird.
Yeah, and maybe there's a reason why Lex Luthor never rose to power as in like the standard like LexCorp type way that has
Well,
kind of been the norm.
did you
I
want me to
haven't
tell
read
you?
Absolute Evil yet, but I know that Lex is in it.
It's like a quick thing. It's the very end of the comic, but I don't know. I would rather you find out on your own type of thing if you haven't read it yet. But we know he exists. This is the best way of putting it for now. I won't say much outside of that. But after that, it's a very heartbreaking moment, which is that Cal visits Martha in the senior living.
Yeah, the last time we saw him in issue 6, he was so mad at Christopher Smith Peacemaker. He wanted to kill him, but he wouldn't do it, and that he eventually just like fled back to Smallville. He needed to see Martha Kent.
Well, he needed to feel at home.
Yeah.
And so far, Smallville is the only place that truly feels like his old home. Even though, like, there's probably plenty of other farm places he could go, but Smallville it speaks to him in a way that he didn't think possible. And what makes it heartbreaking is he goes to visit Martha, and he's like, "Well, I visited this place and it's pretty cool." And I brought my favorite him saying, "I brought you seashells from all 5 oceans because he can go wherever he wants." And he's just trying to like connect with her. And the worst part is that she had asked about him at the end of one of the issues. I think it was like issue 3 or 4.
Yeah.
She asked about him, and he's there. He is. He's there talking to her and everything, and she already forgot who he is while he's there, and it's really heartbreaking. And he flies off. And here's the thing. And here's the thing I wanted to bring up because I didn't realize this until my second time reading it. Although I might have realized it the first time, is that the Smallville street that Cal is standing on is clearly based on the Superman and Lois Smallville set.
Oh. Uh, that had not occurred to me, but I'm glad you caught that.
The reason it's obvious is the theater, because that's the theater in Superman and Lois that's there.
Oh, like when Nat went to go see a movie with Sam Lane.
Yeah, because I saw it and I was like, why does that look super familiar? And so I
Nice.
Googled Smallville set Superman and Lois. One of the first images I saw is kind of this angle of that street. Actually, let me see if we can find it real quick, because it should be pretty easy for me to find it again.
But yeah, a lot of big moments in the show like happened on that street, like the Reds.
Yeah, that street is like is one that popped up all the time. So I found it right now. I'm gonna try sending this to you real quick, so you can maybe put it up. Like it's not 1-to-1 because there's a few there but you can tell every building in that section is like very similar to it. So I just put it in our Facebook chat that me and you have for the podcast. And while you're looking at that, Hunter Iggy about that James Gunn about sites just saying random shit. That's just people getting clickbait ass titles, and it's annoying. It doesn't make any sense. James Gunn is one of the few people that will actually get on the internet and tell you the truth up front.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not really an issue.
Hunter Iggy in the live audience is asking about our thoughts on I don't know. What's the big thing they're saying? I guess the thing I saw was that James Gunn is going to get fired now because Paramount Skydance Paramount is going to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, which didn't happen. So.
That's a big one. The other ones are like, well, Peacemaker season 2 failed. It's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, well, Superman didn't make any money. And even when you find like you read the Forbes article where they wrote something about it, they're going, we don't even know. Who knows? Maybe it'll make money. Who does? Maybe it won't make money. People are just saying things. It's really stupid. Frustrates me immensely.
I ignore a lot of that. But yeah, I do have it. I'm trying to do like a side by side with both of them.
Yeah, but no, I want people to just chill is all it comes down to. And even if the Paramount thing happens, because they rejected the first bid, by the way, so it's not even happening at the moment. Even if it happens, I don't see them going. And then we just got to cancel all the DC projects that did really well already. It's like, no, you stupid.
Okay, so for people who can see this,
yeah, who can visually watch or visually watching this. If not, look up Smallville set Superman and Lois, and it'll be one of the first Google image searches. And then also grab an issue 8 of Absolute Superman, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay, so yeah, that's the actual like Absolute Superman. Again, I'm explaining to people who can't see it. And then that's the set of Superman and Lois. And you'll notice that the buildings are like, they're not exact because some of them are like some of them are differently, of course, like they have different things on them, but you can tell that the building structure is pretty much the same for a lot of the buildings, to the point where there's the one building with the diamond on it that is basically almost drawn exactly the same on this spot. Like you can see it right there. And then even the building on the top where the bubble is, you can see that's the exact same building shape. Like the only building that's completely different right away that you notice is the one in the very back. But even then, it still has that same arc, that same like roof type look. Like it's so similar. Like it was clear that whoever.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah, that this was their. This is where they got it off of. Because even like because they didn't even try to, or they changed the name a little bit of the theater. But it's the same fucking font and everything.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's really cool.
But the scene right before this, where he sees Martha in the assisted living home or whatever, that is so heartbreaking because I just think it was like written. It just felt like so real the way that how she's confused and kind of like her she's in her senile years, I guess. But it's a hard thing to see for anyone, for like a character that a lot of us have grown up caring about for years and years, Martha Kent. And she's just like, Jonathan, where are you? There's someone in the room with me. And Cal is like so freaked out by that he just instantly vanishes out the window. And then
yeah, he doesn't know what to do. It's not like he can just be like, remember me, the guy who stayed at your house for like a couple of weeks maybe? I don't remember. I don't even know how long I was there, type of thing. And the worst part is Saul's trying to explain. I was like, well, dementia. He's like, dude, I don't have fucking time to deal with this shit. I'm just trying to not murder people right now. I love, though, that like he immediately senses both Lois and Jimmy are there. And he's like, fucking leave me the fuck alone, guys.
Yeah. And this scene kind of bothered me a little bit at first. Just kind of the way that writer Jason Aaron was kind of framing the different ideologies of, like, here's Lois Lane, and she's, part of the establishment, and here's Jimmy Olsen, and he's against the establishment, and both these people are like equally wrong. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I think I'm siding a lot more with Jimmy Olsen
Well, it
in
wasn't.
this, but
I never read it that way. I read it isn't so much that they're both equally wrong. It's just that you feel just as trapped in between two different people telling you what you're supposed to be doing. He's just like because Clark is or not Clark. I keep saying Clark. He's not Clark. Cal is stuck in the middle. He's just trying to live. He's just trying to live. He doesn't even know what to do. He's like, I'm literally here to just relax, type of thing. And you motherfuckers are here to be like, no, join my team. No, join my team. Like we have slushies. It's like I don't care about any of this. Like I don't. This isn't even my house. Basically, like it's equivalent of like if I went to somebody's house and somebody says you need to wash the dishes. No, you need to help me sweep. And you're like, I'm just visiting. I don't want to do any of this. Like even though one side like would probably be the clearer choice type of thing, especially in this instance, it's very obvious which one a normal person with the information you have at this point would normally choose. But the thing about Lois is that Lois isn't even saying, "Hey, you should join Lazarus." Lois is just saying, "I need to talk to you," type of thing. And it's not even her like saying, "Hey, you need to join my side." She's like, "No, I just
right.
need you to. I just want to talk to you so we can figure out what we should do." Like she's kind of has the same thought process as Jimmy. The only difference is that she's inside and she thinks she can like maybe use that to her advantage, type of thing. And Cal is just like, I don't want to deal with you guys. Just let me walk around the city in peace so I don't try to murder a peacemaker with my bare hands.
And after reading more of the story arc, I actually ended up finally being like, oh, I'm really happy with why Jason Aaron kind of established the Omega Men to be the extremists that they are, and there's actually like a good explanation for that. So
Yeah,
um,
and it's I love that Jimmy, because it's not in this issue, but Jimmy is exactly who you think Jimmy is. He's a guy who he doesn't want to do any of this either. But he doesn't want to stand by either. Which is another thing I like about Jimmy. And I like that Cal is starting to like understand these two. He's like, these people like Soul's like these two are exactly what this planet is. Like somebody who won't shut the fuck up and somebody who won't just fucking leave you the fuck alone type of thing. And and then something happens when he's just trying to be like, look, guys, I don't want to do any of this stuff. I'm just trying to stop myself from doing anything. And then he gets, for the first time in his life, he gets shot. And it's a
yeah,
direct ass hit. Like this isn't just like he gets shot in the arm. He gets some dead center in his chest. Like if it
yeah.
wasn't for the fact he's Superman, he would have died, and the armor thing, he would have died immediately.
But it's cool how they draw it and color it in the comic with like the bullet hole on his chest in the middle of the S emblem, and then like some green smoke coming up from it, indicating it was the Brainiac with his ability to synthesize kryptonite has armed the peacemakers with specifically Christopher Smith with kryptonite bullets, and we see him in what to me looks like could be Metallo armor.
Yeah, he looks like a fusion of Metallo from the New 52 and the Metallo prior to the New 52, basically. Because he's got all these things sticking up his head the same way New 52 Metallo was. But he almost looks like he's wearing almost like Lex Luthor type Metallo armor because he's got the Lex Luthor colors.
Yeah.
And he's just holding like a 9mm or something, or like a like full of kryptonite bullets. And I like this moment when he gets shot because Lois and Jimmy are like, we need to save him, but neither of them want to admit that they need to work together to save him.
Yeah. But it was a cool predicament to put them in. And it was also a pretty cool fight. This is one of my favorite fights. The abilities of Absolute Superman are still a little confusing to me, probably more confusing than I'd like them to be 12 issues in, but the fight was awesome looking. I'm not sure if I understand everything that was going on, like with the soul suit and the like the energy blast coming out of of Kal-El's hand at one point.
Yeah, it looks like the soul suit uses his specific energy to do like almost force field type punches because it doesn't look like he's trying to burn him in any way.
It's just
And
more
then
impact. It's just like, here, there's going to be some
yeah,
extra solar radiation energy in this punch.
and then he puts on the sort of armor suit that his mom did, and then the dust is like keeping people away from him as he's beating this guy up. I love that it show. I love that the comic consistently shows how powerful he is because he just like he starts beating the shit out of this guy. I also like while this is happening, the citizens of Smallville are telling the Peacemakers to leave because it's obvious that like it's not super obvious at first, but it's obvious that they're trying to protect Cal during that sequence, but there's not really anything they can do. And I like this line though where he says, "I punched you 1,000 times in 30 seconds."
Oh yeah, yeah. He goes into a tornado mode. The AI soul actually calls it that, initiating tornado mode.
Yeah, and he beats the shit out of Christopher Smith at first, but it's clear that he's being weakened by the kryptonite as well as the fact that he's holding back because he doesn't want to kill Peacemaker like at all. And then he just gets the ever living shit out of him. Shot.
Yeah, I think he ends up taking 3 kryptonite bullets total.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4, I think. And yeah, and it like fucks up the armor somehow. And I like the fact that like Peacemaker is like, well, I'm gonna kill the motherfucker now, and forgetting that he was, and because everybody's trying to tell Christopher Smith, it's like, well, we're supposed to take him alive, and he's like, fuck that shit, I'm fucking God, and I have
Yeah,
a God killer god.
he almost kills that guy for telling him to stand down. He would have killed him if Superman hadn't have intervened.
Yeah, and he would have killed Superman if Brainiac hadn't intervened. And
Oh yeah, because Brainiac is always watching. He's like, "Oh, you forgot. I'm always watching you."
I love that moment because it shows how not in control Smith Peacemaker even is when he thinks he's in control. And I love the ending of this because it shows that the Lazarus, sorry, not Lazarus, that the Omega Men use boom tubes to get from place to place, and so they save Superman at the cost of Lois getting arrested because Primus, as she's called, of the Omega Men, is like, you fucking stay here.
Yeah, Jimmy Olsen's boss that we saw previously. Yeah, she's like, "Okay, Superman can come with us, but Soldier Girl Lois Lane, you're not allowed in our boom tube."
Yeah, I found that issue interesting because it's like it's the most of Smallville outside of the Kent farm we'd seen, and we can see just how little people seem to live there, but there are still people because people show up during it. And I think Jimmy even mentions that like people work for Lazarus cryptocurrency.
Yeah, yeah, so kind of like the old school thing with like the company towns where people would get paid with like company currency you could only spend at the company store. This is something that we might see oligarchs try to return us to. We might be at a point to where like, oh yeah, Elon Musk is going to open like a new Tesla plant in middle of nowhere Texas, and the people there are going to get paid in like Dogecoin that you use at the local X store, or just like that.
Yeah, it's all like I think there's a Hershey's one years ago. There was like a Hershey's plant. That was I don't even remember what they're called. They were just called company towns, right?
Yeah, with
And they
company
existed
towns with like
for
company
years.
stores. Yeah.
But you couldn't like leave them because of the way they paid you, because they'd be like, well, you worked so hard. Here's another 100 Musk bucks basically, and you're like, well, what am I? How can I spend this on anything? It's like, well, you can spend it in any participating Elon Musk store that's just down the road, but nowhere else. You can't use it anywhere outside of the city.
Or I just recently watched the movie Sinners, a great film that came out this year. But that's something that they bring up in that, is that a lot of black folks in the South under Jim Crow, there's a guy in that movie who's trying to like buy a beer, and he's like, I just got like these wooden nickels that they pay me at the hardware store that are only good at the hardware store, but this is all I got. Can I buy a beer with this?
Yeah, and they're like, well, we can't make any money off of it. Like, we could sell these maybe for like half of what each one of them are worth, but like, But that's yeah, it's the way of keeping people down, and that's what apparently Lazarus is doing in Smallville, and it's just fucked. It's the whole Lazarus thing is fucked up. That's Lazarus means life, but it's like life for who is really what it comes down to. Life for that baby he threw off that building.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's just what it is.
Oh, we should also say though, when he threw the baby out, he mentioned that he desired a son. So this is like the Ra's al Ghul, like
Oh yeah,
the
that's right.
the one who encountered Batman in the main continuity, or like as they. There's actually like Denny O'Neil wrote that first Ra's al Ghul episode of Batman the Animated Series, but he's basically like, "Oh, detective, you're really cool. I'm a big fan of your superhero career. Why don't you let me adopt you, and you can be my son and the heir to my empire?" And it seems like this Ra's is going to be doing that with Superman, with Kal-El of Krypton.
Yeah, I'm expecting that moment for him to be like, "Hey, Cal, join my team and also fuck my daughter," because that seems to be the other thing that Raish
Yeah,
does all the time.
he loves to pimp out most of the time Talia, but
It's a whole thing. But
they mentioned the other daughter too, Nisa, right? She gets brought up at one point in here.
she does every now and then. I don't know if I forgot if she was brought up in this one or not. But actually, yeah, I have to reread that just to be sure in case. But for the next issue, we'll just explain real quick. So we're in issue 9 now, um, which
Yeah.
is that his Clark. Damn it, I did it again. Cal, Kal-El. Um, sorry, I'm thinking that stupid Wonder Woman. Kal-El, no. He's taken to apparently the Omega Men's base, and they're trying to do surgery on him. But they, even though he's weakened, they can't just like do normal surgery to get bullets out of him.
This is the most brutal depiction of, I don't know, metahuman super surgery, whatever you want to call it, but that I've ever seen in anything. It was painful to read.
Yeah, there's the great moment they're trying to retrieve his bullet or the bullet, and I like that Cal is having this voiceover in his head. He's like, "Years ago, my homeworld tried to kill me when it exploded," is what he's basically saying, and now it's trying to kill my ass again. And he screams this loud scream that apparently destroys every medical piece of equipment around him, and it's kind of funny.
Yeah, all the screens and all the monitors shatter because they don't have any like painkillers they can give them. They're just trying to these. They seem kind of amateurish, just trying to like dig these bullets out. But I guess they know what they're doing.
And it makes sense that they would seem amateurish because they're dealing with an alien being. They don't know what Tylenol does to him, type of thing. Like you can't even do that. And I like that when he yells, like somebody goes, "What did you say?" After he gets the bullet out.
But and then Cal having to use X-ray vision on himself to find the bullet and pull it out was just, I don't know. I thought that was like a very unique thing that who else is going to do that other than Superman?
Yeah, it's really fun, and I like that it proves that he has all his powers that we know of. Essentially, heat vision, cold breath, or freeze breath, X-ray vision, super hearing, that kind of thing. And again, I like him talking about Krypton. He's like, "Krypton, the gift that keeps on killing."
I thought that was like a great way to think about kryptonite though. Like this planet, like it couldn't kill me when it blew up, and it's trying to kill me now with these fragments of it.
Yeah, and he rips out the second bullet, and then he can't get the last one because he's about to pass the fuck out. And that's when we're introduced to the box.
So more fourth world, more Jack Kirby, New God, New Genesis / Apocalypse tech in here. But we have a father box, not a mother box, but a father box.
Which do exist in the normal continuity. A lot of people just forget about them because they're not used as much as mother boxes.
Yeah, I should know what the difference is, but
I used to know, but I don't know any. I remember looking into it years ago, but I forgot what it was. I think they just weren't as technologically advanced or something. I don't remember the specifics, but it explains why the Omega Men are called the Omega Men, because it's clear that they worship this box. And her saying, there's Jimmy says something about like her knowing the face of God or something like that.
Okay, so according to Google AI, I just typed this in. This is something that I was kind of thinking might be the case, but a father box is from Apocalypse and a mother box is from New Genesis.
Okay, so that explains that definitely explains everything. And so the father box probably showed the Primus, quote unquote, God, which in this instance is the Omega of everything, which is Darkseid. It's never really said though, but it's pretty obvious that's why they all call themselves the Omega Men, type of thing. Which makes it which makes up to this point, like you find yourself very confused by who's on whose side at that point. They're like, we're fighting for freedom and everything, but also we have a father box and we know what the face of God is, and we call ourselves the Omega Men. And you're like, because I
But
was
yeah,
reading, the Superman 30, I think is what it was, and they showed the Darkseid Legion, and she had a very similar thing where she's like, I saw the face of God, and it was like clearly Darkseid, but also Absolute Superman at the same time. And so it's like, did they see the same thing? Is that what's going
oh,
on here?
I didn't know that they were doing something so identical in the main book. So that is
Yeah, it's just like
interesting.
it's supposed to be like how the Darkseid Legion starts, which I'm assuming the Darkseid Legion is the future of this world type of thing. I'm not really sure. It's kind of, I'm very iffy on the details of that part. But yeah, the father box, like it helps them out, but like it's clear there's something wrong that you get just for the fact that they have a box to begin with.
Hmm.
Like that's not a normal thing to have, no matter what you think about. Like it leaves you feeling icky right away at the idea of the Omega Man.
And it does finally explain though why they do have like boom tube technology, why they're able to teleport all around the world and attack these Lazarus spaces.
It also explains why Primus is the leader. She's the one who has the box.
Right.
And she's probably, well, we know she's the one who does everything. Um, After that, I love this interaction between Lois and Raish, where Lois just says, "Here's what you're gonna tell me. Here's all the reasons I'm not gonna say no. Let's just fucking put our dicks on the table and figure out what we're gonna do here," type of thing.
But yeah, like she so has him figured out. Like she's in prison, like she's in like Lazarus custody,
Yeah,
some type of holding facility. And then when Rachel Ghul, head of the company, like shows up in her room, she's like, "Let me guess, you showed up because you wanted me to be impressed. Because you never go anywhere, you never show your face, but you're here, and you want me to know that I'm not fired, but I could be. That you could like have me killed at any moment, and that you literally like own my dad's robot legs that he has. So this is like the General Lane with the prosthetic legs. That you could like shut those legs down at any moment, and that I'm just like your little peon that has to like follow your orders." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Let's go."
yeah. My favorite part is that she keeps trying to be like, "You suck," and he goes, "By the way, there's one other thing about what you said. I'll change one other detail. I could just murder your father with my bare hands right in front of you, because fuck you." Because it's so Raish that like Raish is like, "Look, I'm happy that I don't have to say anything else here because it saves me the time to threaten you, but I need to add just a little extra, an extra kick. Oh, I need to last dab your threat there to make it extra spicy." And then I love the fact that she has a knife on him. That she's like, I could kill you where you stand. He's like, go ahead. I'm just gonna get the fuck back up.
Yeah, Lazarus means life after all. So
I love what he says. He's like, I promise I will rise again on the morrow, but can you say the same? He's like, if you do it, we're just gonna kill you, and then I'm gonna get up. I'll be fine.
but
Doesn't hurt me none.
he is using Lois to help him find Superman, who, as we now know, he wants to adopt and have him be his son and heir.
Yeah, and he has this tattoo on his face that's also an omega symbol, which I remember at the time I was trying to figure out what the hell it was but it's the angle that makes it hard to tell what it
Oh
is.
yeah, it's like a sideways omega.
Yeah,
I
it's a sideways omega, which again, we'll get to that. Uh, and so, 'cause I thought it was just like a tribal tattoo at first,
mm,
and then there's this I love this moment of the Omega Men being like, "Hey, we're going to go liberate some protesters from some place," and Superman keeps them from killing people the entire time he's there. He's like, "We're not here to kill. We're here to save the people, but we're not
Mhm.
going to stoop to their level and kill everybody." While and he's desperately doing it. Like he's saving people left and right.
Because he
He's
feels indebted to the Omega Men. They saved his life with their father box, and so he's like, okay, I'll go help you rescue your terrorist buddies. For or no, not they're going to rescue
the
the
protesters,
protesters,
yeah.
in
And
Afghanistan.
then and I like while this is happening, Soul's like, "Hey, so remember when that whole shit happened and it was super fucked up? I don't want to do that again. Let's not fuck with the father box."
Yeah, yeah. Soul is like not about that thing.
Yeah, and
Um,
I like that it says like earlier before they attacked, like he's talking to Jimmy about it, and I love that Jimmy explains why he's there. He's like, "Well, originally I was going to be like, I'm going to be a dad one day, and I want them to know that I fought the good fight, and then I found out the world is fucked, and I don't want to bring another person to this world." Because
yeah,
he finds out not just about Lazarus, he finds out about the entire absolute universe. He starts mentioning things that some of us have barely even scratched the surface of.
yeah. But he mentions absolute Wonder Woman and absolute Batman both with what they're dealing with the Project Olympus and with the Joker that has been teased in Absolute Batman.
Yeah, and then I think the world's richest psychopath is probably the Green Lantern thing. At least that's how I took it.
Oh, I thought that's who the Joker is though in Absolute Batman. He's like the world's wealthiest
Well,
person.
there's a comma though because he says hidden in Area 41 because he's like craziness hidden in Area 41. That's one thing, which I'm assuming is either
That was Brainiac,
I'm
right?
assuming that's the Brainiac thing. The government's Project Olympus, which is probably a Wonder Woman thing. The world's richest psychopath, which then has a comma, which my assumption at least at the time was maybe it was the Green Lantern thing because of the crazy guy there. And then he just goes, some guy they call the Joker. But I guess I see what you mean because it's probably the same thing. But it's hard to tell because it's just, but the fact is, it makes sense that it would be the three of them though. Probably not like for that stuff. But then Jimmy's just like, and then I got a vasectomy literally the next day because I wasn't dealing with that shit.
But yeah,
And
it all starts off. He's just like, yeah, I got involved in all this because I was just like doom scrolling on the toilet one day, and I was like, oh man, like the world's really going to shit, so I need to go get involved. I don't want to have kids one day asking me like, what was I doing when the whole world went to doo doo? So, and then yeah, as soon as he sees all this stuff, he's like, okay, no kids for me, but vasectomy it is.
I love that Jimmy is still such a sweet guy because we were wondering why he never got um, promoted past Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
And he says this great line: "I've killed just as many of the enemy as they've killed of me," meaning he hasn't killed nobody. Like he's just there for the ride type of thing. Like he's never actually killed anybody, and I find that very sweet. But I like that Cal was shown what was clearly like apocalypse or the idea of apocalypse even being made on Earth.
Yeah, he saw like a vision of it when the father box did its thing.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like it was very much like it's the thing that makes it obvious that Cal doesn't trust anything that's going on. He doesn't know if he can trust Primus with anything, and she's constantly saying, "Well, are you going to kill some motherfuckers?" And she keeps calling the father box the God box because it's clear that she's seen maybe even the visions that it's been showing Cal or something. We're not really 100% certain what she has seen from it, and it's just fascinating, yeah, because it cuts back to him just wrecking people's shit. This is another instance of us not understanding how the suit works because at one point it does like a solar flare explosion type of thing, but doesn't like kill anybody still. Like I'm never 100% certain how the suit works sometimes.
It just redirects his solar energy in interesting ways, I guess. Uh, or I guess that's my current understanding. Uh, but yeah, the fighting, the smashing up the peacemakers and the Lazarus gear, all of that is really cool. And then it all has a big tonal shift when we find the Afghanistan protesters. They're dead. They're all hanged. Their bodies are still hanging.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. The shading that tries keeping you from really seeing some stuff every now and then, and you're supposed to feel you understand where Cal is. That is like it. You're supposed to feel angry at what they have found, and she Primus immediately uses it as a means to like, well, let's just fucking kill everybody, type of thing. And I like that Jimmy immediately goes do something about this, like to Superman, because he doesn't feel comfortable with killing either.
Mm-hmm.
And Cal's having this conversation in his head where he's just like, he's like, it's like there's so much brutality and stuff, and then he's just like, I have to get away from everybody. It's like this whole world is just fucking weird, and people are screaming at me to save them or liberate them or everything in between, and I'm just like, I just can't deal with that. He's like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And I like that, like, Primus is just, it's clear Primus is like, we're knowing what we know now, and I mean that because we'll find out eventually soon. Primus is egging him on this entire time.
Yeah.
Primus is just like, you need to fucking stop holding back. You need to be like, you need to start killing some motherfuckers in the name of peace. Is she's the thing is she's saying what the peacemakers are saying at the same time.
Yeah, that obvious contradiction. That's it's kind of comical in how much it
Yeah,
contradicts itself. And
yeah.
then
She's like, we need to teach them our peaceful ways by force, which is the same thing the peacemakers are saying.
mhm.
She's like, you kill one person to save billions, like one death to save millions, billions. You got to kill Ra's al Ghul, or you got to kill. And but before she says that, so well, you got to kill every peacemaker. Then you got to kill Christopher Smith, and then when you kill Christopher Smith, then you kill Ra's al Ghul, and then the world is saved. The end. And he's like, what the fuck are you people talking about? And he's just like, I'm going to leave. And then I like that it turns out that before they left where they were, Jimmy was kidnapped by Lazarus. And luckily, Lois is there
Yeah.
to be his interrogator.
So Lois has Jimmy in custody.
I
And
appreciate that somehow in the absolute universe, the Geneva Convention still exists. You think
yeah,
it wouldn't, all things considered.
I like the way that Jason Aaron writes absolute Jimmy Olsen. He doesn't seem that different from a normal depiction of Jimmy. Just he's not a photographer. He ended up a freedom fighter.
Yeah, he's like Beetle Bailey, almost. He's like a Beetle Bailey freedom fighter. Like he's bumbling, but he's not overly bumbling. But he's not a badass in any way. He's not CIA Snyderman who got shot in the face. Like he's Jimmy Olsen who just happens to be a freedom fighter. It's really funny. And Lois, it seems that Lois has a plan to to save Superman by getting information about Cal from him.
Yeah, so that was the ending of issue 9, and that brings us to issue 10. So this was the I just read these next 3 issues earlier today, so they're all like super fresh on my mind. I just read them for the first time. But yeah, some big reveals in here. But issue 10 opens with a flashback to Jor-El. Actually, we see some Kryptonian, some mining out in the Redlands. They're in those red sunstone caverns, and we have what are they called? The monsters that end up
The mag moles is what
mag
they're called.
moles. Yeah, yeah. These
And
giant moles that I guess like live in the magma on Krypton.
yeah, and I didn't realize that they were showing clear signs of the poisoning before anybody else did.
Mm-hmm.
So this probably happened before they even realized the world was coming to shit, because this was like the first real sign that something was wrong. But they were too busy worrying about survival that they didn't know what to do about it. And I appreciate that the lava gun was always a thing because he's like, because Jor-El's sitting there thinking like, well, there's something wrong here. We need to figure out what went wrong here. He's like, yeah, but we're all gonna die if we don't get the fuck out of here. and and Jor makes a very heavy decision, in at least in his head, which is that there's something wrong with these creatures, but if I don't get out of here, I won't see Cal again. And he makes the decision to use the lava gun.
Yeah, like the story will come back, but like a big part of the story arc, I guess, is like dealing with the actually a common talking point with Superman a lot these days, but with like a Superman with a no kill rule, and this version of Kal-El, like I would say, most depictions of Superman, he's pretty much against taking another life. Like the story of like his dad and the Magmals kind of like weighs heavy on him. But this was an instance when his dad was felt like he had no other choice but to use lethal force.
Yeah, it's like we'll get back to it when as he thinks about the story his dad told him, but it's clear that Superman assaults like well as it's going on, Superman finds himself going, he's like, who am I questioning our ancestors about what you do about blood on your hands? And he assaults this base and just wrecks everyone shit. And I mean like everyone shit. Nobody dies. He used the dust like takes out all these planes and and like vehicles and all this stuff.
Yeah, it's a cool location. They're like up in Greenland in a snowstorm, fighting on
Yeah.
top of a glacier.
All to save accused terrorist Timmy Olsen.
Yeah,
Which made me laugh.
the mainstream media, like you see like the CNN report, and they're like oh the terrorist Timmy Olsen being held at the secret Lazarus facility.
Poor Jimmy can't even have propaganda to get his name right.
But his reaction to that, like I like Jason Aaron's writing. I think it's pretty strong, except sometimes his attempts at humor fall flat for me. Except with Jimmy for whatever reason, like he has like a good handle on the Jimmy Olsen voice. I think.
Well, this part has my favorite joke in both or all 12 issues, which is him, saying, "Should I laugh or cry? I really don't know." And then Lois says, "Well, what do you expect? Reporters are all morons." Like,
Yeah.
which is such a funny fucking thing for her to say because of her life outside of this universe.
Yeah, that was a good line too. So Jason Aaron, you're funnier than I used to think you were.
And as this is going on, she's trying to keep Jimmy from saying something that'll get them both killed. And then Raish is like, "Well, I'm finally gonna meet my son. Super excited, can't wait. Like we're gonna play catch after this." And like he's really excited.
Yeah, like he's like the like eager father who's like his pregnant wife is giving birth in the room next to him. He's like, I'm about to meet my baby boy.
Yeah, and Brainiac has this plan. I like that Brainiac shows that he did his homework. He's like, "Look, I've studied how Krypton was. I realized that the sun is what's given his powers. Greenland, the sun isn't always up all the time. It'll keep him from recharging as easily. Um, and I have all these great ideas, type of thing. And it's clear that this was the moment I should have realized it. It's pretty obvious once the reveal happens, where he's like, "I want to make Superman whole," and he's like, "Well, I got all these ideas and all these plans." He's like, "We got all the opportunities to weaken him so we can like break him," type of thing. So I'm not going to break him. I'm going to realign him in a way that pleases my plans, type of thing. And they give the crypto. I like that they haven't used the kryptonite up to this point. He keeps trying to figure out a way of saying it. He says crypto meteorite
Yeah.
because he doesn't know how to say it. And I like that Christopher Smith is like, "Look, the last time I tried doing it, this little fucking asshole kept me from killing the illegal alien." Those are literally his words. It's calling Cal an illegal alien.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Make God," and he's like, "Well, you take orders from Ra's al Ghul now, so make God proud." And he gives him a kryptonite bullet. And yeah, Clark again. Cal is just fucking these guys up left and right, and he's dragging them into the middle of the night because Ra's is like, he's like, "Please tell me he's murdering them. Please tell me my boy is murdering." Is basically what he's just so giddy at the idea. And Brainiac's like, well, no, he's just beating the shit out of him.
And this is also around the time when I figured out the Omega Men must be working for Ra's al Ghul, because there's a line at one point when Ra's says, "Okay, Brainiac, begin phase 2," and right after he says that is when the Omega Men boom tube in, and Primus is leading a mission to find Jimmy Olsen. This is the same base on Greenland is also where Lois and Jimmy Olsen are. So the Omega Men show up to rescue Jimmy, but also seemingly complicate this fight. And Ra's al Ghul and Brainiac, they're kind of like being like the Emperor and Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi, trying to be like, okay, Luke, we really need you to turn bad so that you can be our guy. So we gotta get you to kill. We gotta get this super kid to draw blood.
And the reveal reminds me of. Did you ever play Force Unleashed?
I did.
The plan that they had in that is literally the plan that Raish kind of has here, which is that because we've essentially not spoiled so much as we've told you guys what the end of this issue is right away, which is that it turns out the Omega Men were a secret. It was that Raish had created his own rebellion type of thing, and that's the plot of Force Unleashed 1, where they're like, hey, Starkiller, I need you to get all the people who would make a rebellion and then make a rebellion so we know who to take out type of thing. Like, it turns out Raish did the same thing, and so it's revealed that Primus is phase 2 is Primus brings all her badass Omega Men with her to be like, yeah, we're gonna liberate Jimmy because Jimmy's our best friend. There's no way we're leaving a man behind who's stupid as shit, type of thing. Like, that's honestly what the moment we probably should have realized that they weren't really that serious.
Because in the issue previous to this, she was like, "Oh, fuck them. If they can't keep up, then we're leaving them behind." So
Yeah, exactly. And then I love this sequence where Peacemaker shows up and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna beat up Superman. I'm gonna show you that he's a little bitch." And he flies into the sky, yelling. And then Kal-El apparently, what does it say? What is it that he says? I beat him senseless in about 4 seconds.
yeah, and it looks so cool, just like Christopher Smith flying up in his rocket pack into the snowstorm, into the clouds. You see like the glow of his rockets. You see like the big red glow of Cal, and I don't know, whatever the hell he's doing with his soul dust cape armor, whatever. But yeah, there's like this giant battle that takes place in just like a few seconds, like up in the clouds, and it's just like lightning and thunder and explosions and a defeated Peacemaker laid out in the snow.
Yeah, I love that Cal is like, look, this guy is cybernetically enhanced. His armor is so far beyond anything this planet should be capable of. He is the strongest human being on the planet at this exact moment, and I beat his ass in 4 seconds.
Yeah, he says they made him into the strongest human on the planet, but I'm not human.
Yeah, he beats the shit out of him. And there's this wonderful shot where the dust makes it almost look like he's an angel of like vengeance almost.
Yeah, he's got like these weird red cape energy dust wings. I don't know. It's so, when you start trying to describe this art, it's so hard to describe absolute Superman. It's unlike any other Superman you've seen. It's about the only way I can describe it.
It's fascinating. And then comes back the story about like he starts thinking like I should kill this dude. This guy is good. He's gonna try to. He's still trying to kill me. I can microwave his brain. I could break his spine with freeze breath. I can throw his heart into space so fast he would still be alive long enough to see me do it. Just horrendous, appalling ways of murdering somebody. And he's like, I could do it. And then I love the lesson that he gets from his dad, because the dad is what I found interesting about this is the fact that Kal-El has a no-kill rule, is because you expect the story that his dad to be telling him to be like, look, son, sometimes you have to kill to save the ones you love, is kind of what he says. but it's the way he says it, because he's like, well, sometimes we have to be the cruel ones to keep all this from going away. And he's like pointing out the planet Krypton, and all he's done is prove to his son, not knowing this because he doesn't realize that the planet's going to explode not that long from now, is he's telling his son, even though we did horrific things to each other, it didn't do anything. The world still, all of Krypton was still taken away from them. Like, my father killed and his father killed before him, and that's why we get all this beautiful land. And he's like, no, you guys killed and you guys killed before you, and you still lost your land. We need to be different. And it's a wonderful fucking moment of Kal-El just deciding, my father was the most caring man in the world, but in the end, I was the only one who could survive. And I'm not the miner with a lava gun. I'm the last beast in the mine. It's such a great line.
Yeah, yeah, that idea of like, oh, he doesn't see himself as his dad forced to shoot these enraged beasts. He's like, I am one of the enraged beasts.
And I love that he still doesn't kill him. He doesn't let Primus kill Christopher Smith. He doesn't even try to let Raish kill Christopher Smith.
Ra's al Ghul shows up, takes the kryptonite bullet gun from Christopher Smith. It tells him, like, you are such a disappointment. I'm gonna end you now. Tries to shoot the man with his own gun, and Cal, like, I guess even though it was like a kryptonite bullet, he was still able to like block it with his hand. It didn't go all the way through.
I think it's because the armor like is like right here on his hand still, so it might have stopped it from going all the way through.
He gets himself shot with yet another kryptonite bullet, but Christopher Smith seemingly still alive as a possible Metallo Peacemaker.
Yeah, like I have a feeling we'll see him again because he wasn't killed. Because I had actually misremembered it. I thought he had died, but I forgot that Cal actually saves him, and then the reveal happens. After that happens, he gets stabbed in the back by. It turns out Primus was Talia al Ghul the whole time,
all along.
And then she murders all her men, by the way. I thought it was the thing I forgot that she does too, is that the Omega men are just wiped out right then and there. She's like, there are no, like, you, like, we, she, like, Raish is like, I was playing both sides the whole time. Like, I was never not in control of the situation.
Is that such a thing that is kind of typical in Empire in general? Like you were just saying, like an example from the Star Wars video game, but yeah, like a lot of times the people in control, they will kind of funnel their own resistance groups just so they can control it. What you can control the height of the flame on the stove is like the allegory they use for that.
Yeah, and I don't know why it took me so long to realize that the tattoo on his face was also an Omega the entire time, because that is the biggest hint in the entire thing.
Right, now that you pointed that out to me, so I'm in the way that we saw Talia with the father box. I'm guessing the Al Ghuls they're servants of Darkseid in this universe.
Yeah, it's clear that they worship the father, the God box as she calls it, because it probably showed them what it showed Cal, which is that Darkseid is God. But Cal doesn't, like, Cal's only saw the planet, which is like Apocalypse itself. But they're like, yeah, God, the Omega is the symbol of Darkseid. Like, there's no other way of putting it. Like, it's pretty obvious they were going to be the bad guys, even if they weren't working for Raish at the end of the day. And I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, then we go into issue 11 with Kal-El now the prisoner of Brainiac. Now he is the weird test subject in Brainiac's lab, subjected to bizarre torture.
So his torture was interesting because it was like a negative. It was like a that flower. I forgot what it was called.
Oh, the Black Mercy.
Yeah, it's like a negative Black Mercy where it's just like here's just a bunch of horrific shit. Like they're trying to to Clockwork Orange him in his mind.
Yeah, they're trying to make him into a psycho murderer. They basically the way that Christopher Smith opened fire on a bunch of unarmed civilians and then actually like got promoted because of it. It's like, yeah, they're trying to make Kal-El their new soldier, their new murderous psycho.
Yeah, and the kryptonite's above his head to try to keep him, try to weaken even his mind, like to make him more susceptible to everything. I do appreciate that one of the Brainiacs is like, "Can we call it kryptonite?" And he's like, "Take your tongue out."
Yeah, you're not allowed to have independent thought. Remove your tongue and turn it back into the parts department. But
And
after that, he does call it kryptonite.
he,
Like he's
he,
like steals that dude's idea.
he steals it like immediately. He calls it kryptonite at the end of the story, like as if that was his idea the whole time. Like, well, the kryptonite. It's like fuck you.
Yeah.
It's like you
So
suck.
yeah, that's when I was like, oh yeah, look, now you're the guy exploiting the workers, the asshole Brainiac, class traitor Brainiac over here. And the stuff that Kal-El is witnessing in like this like subconscious dream. He's like you were saying, he's kept unconscious on the bed, and he's just like living different scenarios mentally, but they're all the most terrible things. They're all things that would try to like make him into a mass murderer. So like he sees like his parents being executed by like the Kryptonian lawgivers at the very beginning, and trying to like make him like unleash his rage on his fellow Kryptonians. They make him go through like scenarios just uh where Brainiac tries to get him like, oh, I'm just gonna act like a jerk in front of you and try to get you to like kill me, and then that's all like revealed to be fake. They just subject him to all these god awful situations.
Yeah, like, and what's interesting is that Brainiac is doing them in phases. He's like the first phase, it's all his life on Krypton. We're gonna corrupt his life on Krypton to make him a murderer, and then he's gonna kill somebody hundreds of thousands of times. Then we're gonna move to the next phase of his life, and then he does the same thing, and he's gonna do the same thing the next time. Like it's clear that he's trying to rewrite his entire history essentially. And what I love about the sequence is that Cal's just not breaking. He's just constantly just like, what am I doing? No, we not. I'm not going to kill you. And he's talking to the other Brainiacs. He's like, you deserve to be free. This isn't. You're just as much as a prisoner here as I am. And Brainiac's like, what's happening? This shouldn't be. This shouldn't be happening. Like you should. And Brainiac says something that I love, which is just like, this man is inspiring people to do things. And he's like, I don't. He's like, I'm fascinated by this. Like, this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, he's such an opponent to oppression that even here, when he's like strapped down to this hospital bed in this mad alien's lab, but like he even there, totally helpless. He's superhumanly whispering at too low of a voice to hear, except for on a subconscious level. But he's like whispering things to the other Brainiacs, like you deserve liberty. You deserve to be able to rise up against this asshole.
And I love that Brainiac is scared of the father box. Like it's clear that the father box is probably what helped Raish break Brainiac. Is what I feel like happened.
Yeah, because Raish is definitely like the one in charge. He's the one calling the shots.
He keeps telling Brainiac, he's like, there will be repercussions if you fucking fail. It makes me wonder if the reason Brainiac's part robot is that maybe Raish did some shit, fucked up things to him, type of thing. Like we're never really, and he mentions he's been here since 1938, which we also know is a reference technically, but it's like clear that it's clear that Raish got a hold of Brainiac very early on, which is one of the reasons why his stuff has been able to accelerate at such a fast pace compared to everybody else, and he's keeping Soul hostage as well. Like he's keeping him in like a tank to keep him from getting to him.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. I didn't realize I like cared about a bunch of red dust this much, but I was sad when I saw Soul trapped in that tank.
And then Jimmy and Lois are just getting beat up all the time by Talia, but she's not going to kill him because apparently they're the test of like, I don't know how they were going to convince Cal to kill those two, because it doesn't make any sense to me that that's something they could have done.
Yeah, it probably isn't, but Raish still ordered Brainiac to find a way, anyways. So, uh, but I liked that General Sam Lane. He's a character that he can kind of go either way. He can be a good guy or a bad guy in a Superman story, just depending on the depiction of Superman you're telling. But I really liked the use of Sam Lane in this issue and what they got with him when he's like called in to Lazarus. Or I
Well, he
guess
like
he
he
shows up on
sneaks
his own.
in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They're like, "What
he's
are you doing here? We didn't have an appointment."
and then he just immediately just starts fucking people up. I thought that was really cool. That Sam apparently hid the guns in his leg.
Yeah, in his robot legs that Talia al Ghul cut off. We know it was the Omega Prime. We know it was Primus who cut his legs off. So
Yeah, and Sam shows up and just immediately starts being badass as fuck. And Jimmy's like, "Do I get a gun?" He's like, "Who the fuck is this motherfucker?"
I loved like the dialogue though between Lois and her dad, just like the "Yes, sir, General Dad," and their report. Like, you could tell, like, oh yeah, they've like trained for these combat situations.
Yeah, and it's clear that like that Sam Lane's plan probably would have fully worked if it wasn't for the fact that Lois is like, we can't leave Superman behind, and he's being tortured for like 2 weeks at this point because it says day 14 by the time this part happens, and he finally starts like kind of killing more on his own, and during the last like simulation here, like he kills Raish, he kills all the
Yeah,
peacemakers,
he's like
and
on the farm with Jonathan and Martha trying to save them from peacemakers and
yeah, and so they're just like, and then Jonathan and Martha then end up going into full Snyder mode. We're like, we're
yeah,
proud of you,
basically.
son. You should murder them all.
Yeah, they're like you're doing great. This is what you're meant to do. Kill all these bad guys. But I guess some people like they do want to see that version of Superman.
Yeah, and it's really funny because of it. And then, but then the saddest thing happens, which is that they get a hold of Superman and they almost get him out right away, but Sam gets stabbed in the head. And unlike Brainiac, he can't just fix that.
Yeah, but I guess it's Talia who finishes them off. But it's so brutal. Like these absolute comics are so dark at times. But yeah,
They also shoot his body as it's falling down, by the way. I didn't notice that until right now. As his body's falling, he gets shot as at the same time.
his last line is I can't feel my legs. But yeah, as a knife is like in his head, and then as his body falls down, just getting covered in bullet holes. So yeah, Jason Aaron really wanted us to know General Lane is dead.
He's dead. He's never been more dead. I was actually bummed out they killed him this early, but that's it's to show that this world that some people may exist, but they're not safe the way we expect them to be, and I like that Jimmy is able to save Superman.
Oh yeah, because he knew his name. He's like, cause, earlier like he starts calling him pal, because Kal-El is like, stop calling me Superman. That's weird. I don't know why people in this
Yeah,
world call me that so much. So he just starts calling him pal, but then he's like, oh, that's not like something calls him Superman. He's like, that isn't his name. Kal-El, wake up.
and I like that he wakes up from hearing the weird like keep killing people, son.
Yeah, he wakes up from the weird Zack Snyder dream where he's getting the speech like it's okay for you to murder all the bad guys, son. And then but when he wakes up from that, wakes up from 2 weeks of nonstop torture, he grabs his torturer by the throat. He grabs Brainiac by the throat. And I I got the impression the first time I read this, I was like, okay, they're not gonna have him kill Brainiac, but they do end issue 11 making it ambiguous if he kills him or not.
Yeah, and I never really looked at these panels a little more closely. Is that there's faces and souls panels here, just as the Brainiac clone is releasing him. There are faces inside of it, and it's actually kind of creepy.
Yeah, the when the red dust cape is imprisoned, it makes like it has like these like ghostly faces of it's almost too much. Like it's like okay, this is like too over the top of just like grim torment. It's like okay, I get it. Brainiac's lab is a fucking nightmare.
Well, it looks almost like it's screaming at him, at Cal, to
Hmm.
stop, basically. But Cal can't hear him, and Soul's able to get out, luckily.
Right, because
And
what happens is one of Brainiac's little clone minions, as mindless minions, that has been, I guess, radicalized against Brainiac by Cal, saves Cal by unleashing Soul, which intervenes, which I guess Soul does the weird red dust cape thing and wraps up around Cal and gets him out of there before he's able to kill Brainiac.
yeah, and so yeah, the ending of this one's very ambiguous. But as we know in the next issue, because we can get to issue 12 and finish this one off, is that they survive, or Brainiac wasn't killed, and he was Soul took him, Jimmy, and Lois to Kansas as fast as he possibly could, like somehow outracing all of their vehicles. And then there's this very sweet but also again depressing opening sequence of Martha having seen the red dust, excited, saying that he's back and that she needs something because she keeps saying I have to get it ready for him right away, right away. And
Yeah,
we're not sure what she means by that so far.
it's sad though, because you see Martha having like a moment of clarity in the nursing home where she's like, "Oh wait, yeah, the red storm outside. I know what that means. That Angel is gonna be back." And then like the people who work there, they're just like, "What the hell are you talking about?" But the reader knows it's like, "Oh, she does remember Kal-El, just not all the time."
Yeah, it's an on and off thing, and she probably didn't notice him right away because he wasn't dressed the way he was. Like he was like a man hidden in the night, and then we get some more flashback stuff about what Kal-El has been up to on the planet Earth after leaving the Kent the first time.
Yeah, so Hillman and Soul had a conversation on top of a volcano about I guess like the importance of finding community, of finding other people. How Soul tells Cal that like like you can't survive on your own forever. You're gonna need companionship. You're gonna need community.
He's like, and I'm an AI, so I don't
Yeah,
count.
like I can't be that for you. Like I can guide you. I can look after you, but I can't do it. I can't do everything. You're gonna need to learn how to have like some genuine human interaction with these people.
And I like that when Soul's like, well, you can do whatever you want. It's like if you wanted to, you could become a very rich, big person here, and like you're very powerful. You could be like the guy. And Cal's like, no, I'm a I'm a worker. I'm a worker bee type of thing. Like I don't feel comfortable outside of being amongst the dirt. I'm a man of the dirt is what his thought process is. And I need to be in the sun. And I found that it's very sweet.
And I guess this kind of starts him traveling the world and meeting different working class people in different corners of the world. But that's kind of the lifestyle we see him living in issue 1. And we see him like he goes to the Philippines and gets a job on a sugarcane farm that's ran by the Peacemakers, that's ran by Lazarus.
It really shows Lazarus's reach because he goes all over the world and
Yeah.
every single place that works that has like normal workers are all working for Lazarus. But it also shows how dangerous that Cal's powers are because this woman's is being nice to him, and then somehow his skin is so powerful, like his body's energy is so powerful it burns her hand, type of thing. Although her saying it burns like the sun itself was a bit too on the nose, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Uh, and then he rips off a fucking Peacemaker's arm. Completely by accident, by the way. It's not like he meant to rip this man's arm off. And I love how he's like, oh, fuck. Like, he's like, oh, wow. He's saying, oh, God, basically. Oh, God, I didn't mean to. And the guy's just like, Jesus Christ, my arm. He's like, I gotta go.
Yeah. But at least that guy was being an asshole, though. But
Yeah, but like, but it's obvious that Cal doesn't know what to do with his life. He's like, I can't even be a normal guy, but maybe I should kill them all. Was like that's the first time in his head. He's like, those guys sucked. They deserve that shit. He's like, I'm happy that he didn't die? Question mark. That's literally what he's telling Saul. And Soul's like, you don't mean that, bro. You're not supposed to kill. He's like, well, I should. They all suck.
Um, and after that, I guess is when Cal had to. Is that when he went to like the little Sunstone Fortress the first time? He kind
Yeah,
of
so right after he rips their arm off and they have the conversation about should I kill, should I not kill? What would my parents kind of think? Like I just don't know what to do. He's like, I'm gonna get my own thoughts down. And he says in private, and then he kneels, and there's this great page of like that the suit can create like essentially a a tent fortress around him, like that's red because it's the it's the sunstone.
yeah.
In fact, like I don't remember if I brought it up to you or somebody else, where that it looks like the fortress shape from the movie, the newest movie, because that's how the fortress is shaped in that movie.
Oh, yeah, I was just thinking like Donner movie style, but yeah, you're right. It's kind of like that same profile. But yeah, he gets like a little mini fortress. So like absolute fortress of solitude is red and small.
Well, it's the absolute tent of solitude,
Yeah,
is what I'm gonna call it from here on.
it's
Because
not much of a fortress.
it's just this little like it's like when you play Final Fantasy. Like, well, do you want to rest in a tent real quick? And then you just push the tent over. It's just so he gets this tiny fortress and it cracks open the way like it's like as if it's crystal. And I like that he's not over what Brainiac did. He's like, man, I was being tortured by this guy. He's like, I don't really know what to do with my
Yeah,
life, you know?
yeah. No, 2 weeks of Brainiac torture. You need to go back to Kansas. You need to form a little red crystal tent around yourself and sleep it off, and then you'll feel all better when you come out the next day.
And then there's this wonderful moment in Smallville where Lois and Jimmy find themselves in a diner. It's like it's more like a like it's like a diner basically. It's called
Yeah,
Small's Steak Shop, and they're like, we don't have any money and we're hungry.
yeah. Can we wash dishes or something?
But I love the sequence because they're like because the woman says like, well, we know who you are. So well, so what are you guys talking about? What's a small town? We all know who you are, and we know what I like what she says, and we know what you did, and the did is in
Yeah.
like bold letters, and it sounds almost like everyone in there is going to murder them all with their bare hands. But I appreciate that it turns out no that she's like we're a small town, everyone here's scared. They don't really know what they don't know who to trust. They don't know what to do. They're weaponizing our fear against each other, and we're afraid of Lazarus, people outside of the city. Some of us are even afraid of, and then she says him with this kind of like strong look on her face. And she mentions, she's like, if I thought you were terrible people, I would have 12 gauge shotgunned you so fast. Which is a hell of a thing to hear from somebody. But then it's clear that everyone in this little room appreciates Superman because he for some reason he keeps coming back and saving them because a lot of what she because Lois mentioned some of this stuff on one of the last issues. It's like, well, you 1 year you showed up, stopped the fire. 1 year you showed up, you saved some drowning kids. 1 year you showed up and you saved some people from a tornado. You keep coming back here, and everyone in Smallville loves that he never once asks for anything. He saves the day, hangs out, and then leaves, and he just keeps doing that. And I like that it shows that everyone in Smallville loves Superman, and it's very sweet. And that woman turns out her name is Lana Lang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the first meeting of Absolute Lana and Absolute Lois.
I also love that it turns out she doesn't. Not only does she have a 12 gauge shotgun, she's got a 9 mil and a baseball bat under the counter.
She is stocked up. Well, you know those Lazarus peacemakers. If there's any of them working in the Smallville area, they're probably pretty big jerks in this diner. So I can't blame her for being armed. But yeah, it didn't even occur to me that this redhead waitress was going to be revealed to be Lana. But I love Lana Lang. She's one of my favorite Superman supporting characters, so I was happy to see her here. It wasn't something I was even expecting to get an absolute Superman. I'm glad that they snuck her in.
Yeah, I was wondering if we would see anybody else like Pete Ross or something later down the line. And seeing Lana was such a wonderful breath of fresh air. because so many absolute comics will have a character. You're like, well, this is your favorite character, so and so. It's like, oh well, what are they up to? Well, horrible shit type of thing. Like I was worried we would have to deal with that. But what I like about the fact that about some of the absolute comics is they're still willing to keep some of those people as allies in different ways.
Yeah.
And there's some that we know will be different. Absolute Superman has differences in villains. We know that Absolute Batman, Harley Quinn is going to be a Batman ally, instead of a Joker ally, and that the word on the street is that Dick Grayson's going to be a Joker ally in the Absolute universe.
Mm.
Everything's up for grabs in the Absolute universe, and finding out that Lana Lang is just kind of Lana Lang was kind of nice.
Yeah, that is nice. Yeah, I'll take it. We need all the nice we can get in the Absolute universe.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was a fun moment to see like the town of Smallville being like, oh yeah, we know that you're friends of Superman, and if you're friends of Superman, you eat for free in our town. So like everyone is like lining up to like buy them breakfast.
And I like that it's after that it's just Cal accepting. It's Cal accepting that Soul is his family.
Yeah, he goes out to the Kent farm, which is all abandoned now, and he has a heart-to-heart talk with his dust cape.
Yeah, he talks to his dust cape, and it's like, man, I'm so sorry you've been alone. I failed you. He's like, you didn't fail me, man. You kept me alive. You kept me sane. I don't know where I would be without you. You taught me Japanese.
No, it was pretty heart moving at one point. Like I almost teared up when he tells him, "Soul, you're part of my family. From now on, I'm gonna call you Soul L. You're my big brother from Krypton." I was
That's
like,
really.
"That's so."
I teared up too when he says that.
Because he doesn't, yeah, like he doesn't have any family. Like he was cheated from having, his life on Krypton. He was cheated from having his life with the Kents. But the one thing that he always had, that I guess he took for granted for a little bit, was this dust cape from his mom, Soul. I did think like when Brainiac separated them, I was like, oh my god, this is the first time he's ever been alone. When Brainiac had the Soul in the glass jar and Cal strapped to the bed, I was like, this has never happened before in this series. They've always been together until now.
Yeah,
So.
the only time that they weren't together, the Kents were taking care of him, and so it
Yeah.
was like,
And Soul was there. He was just asleep. He was just like,
Yeah,
I
he
gotta
wasn't-
regenerate. Be back
yeah,
soon.
and Soul shows that he has some kind of emotions when he's like, don't fuck with that father box. He's like, you sound scared of it. He's like, scared? I'm a program. I don't fucking
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about.
yeah.
And then when he tells them, hey, you're my big brother, he's like, you know what? That is cool. And I hate that it ends with him going, and may I just say that? And just before he says anything, Jimmy and Lois show up going, we have food.
Yeah, big goofball Olsen.
I love that he's
Kal-El
like-
being like, cool, I don't really eat, but thanks.
Jimmy just being like, did he say that? That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. And he just starts eating the food. The whole thing is really funny, but I love that it shows how deep Lois and Kal-El, no matter what universe it is, that they can bond pretty quickly. Because he's saying, I'm sorry for your loss. And she's like, well, Miss Lane, I'm Kal-El of Krypton. She's like, well, you can call me Lois. And Jimmy's like, you told me to call you Miss Lane. This is bullshit.
But even in this weird ass universe where like a Superman that is this different, you still kind of get that. Oh yeah, they're Jimmy and Lois and Clark that work together at the Daily Planet. Like that same chemistry still shows through.
Like it's a constant in most universes, and I find that really sweet. And I like that he's introduced the Soul. He's like, hey, this is my cape, Soul. And he's like, I've never met a cape before.
Yeah. How do you handle that? Soul it's almost kind of like Aladdin's carpet. It's like, oh, this is my companion, but also my vehicle, and kind of a weird animated cartoon character sidekick. But
I'm worried about Soul, though, because this is the type of... If this was an anime, this would be the episode that happens before Soul dies. You know what I mean?
I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, that is a solid possibility for this
because
series.
the end of this issue, I almost said season. The end of this issue is that Lazarus is descending on Smallville, they all realize that the only way we're going to get Superman to really truly turn into fury and murder us all the way we need him to is that we need to kill everyone and everything around him that he seems to care about, including this little fucking town. And I like how Talia's like, "Well, I need to kill I need to kill Lois." He's like, "Yeah, it sounds like a plan."
Yeah, yeah, she's jealous of Lois. Like, she wants to bang Kal-El because that's like Talia al Ghul's lot in life is to marry whoever her dad wants to adopt.
And I love this line. And when Superman is adequately enraged, I will handle his baptism personally. By the hands of Ra's al Ghul, he will be redeemed. And just it's like fucking apocalypse now shit. Just helicopters and helicopter tanks and tanks and mechs slowly descending on Smallville. It's fucking crazy. And this one's called The Battle of Kansas Part 1, and it just says Soul. And I'm like, what is going to happen?
Yeah, so very very intrigued, and yeah, the first 12 issues, it still kind of seems like, oh, we are just getting started. There is so much more to come. They seem like they do have something big planned out.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see where this goes. I want to know exactly what this means for this world. This is what the preview synopsis is of the next one, which is will be out. I'm assuming sometime next month or the month after. The Battle of Kansas has begun as the tanks of Lazarus Corps come rolling down the streets of Smallville, haunted and weakened from the horrors he suffered at the hands of Brainiac and Ra's al Ghul. Superman wages a last desperate fight for everything and everyone he has come to hold dear. And so that's apparently the synopsis of what the next issue will be. I'm curious to see where this will go from here, because there's already a cover for issue 14 as well, with him fighting a Ra's al Ghul with what seems to be a green sword. So we might finally get the actual final conclusion a little sooner than I thought.
Hmm. I'd be excited for a sword fight with a kryptonite sword, though. That sounds like they really get some fun imagery in all the absolute titles, but like an absolute Superman, like the Omega Men with their energy swords look cool. All like the Peacemaker gear, all of that looks cool. The crazy soul stuff that I do kind of wish they'd be a little bit more clear on the rules, but it always looks cool whenever he's armored up or blasting his solar energy around or doing weird dust shapes with the cape. Again, it's hard to explain soul. It's hard to explain like the visual depictions of Superman in this series a lot of the times, but
Yeah, but that's kind of the point of the absolute universe, as you mentioned. It's like everything is different. We shouldn't expect to be able to explain each character and their powers the exact same way. Wonder Woman has a magic arm, for instance.
yeah.
Like what's that about? Like type of thing. Like nobody works the same way they did before, and I think that's interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, I think Absolute Superman continues to be a consistently good read, also like extremely relevant. They like Jason Aaron really took the mission statement, seriously of like, okay, if we were going to recreate Superman, relaunch this character for today's world, what kind of story would we tell? And yeah, very much the successor of the original Marvel Ultimate Universe that did the same thing 25 years ago in the year 2000.
Yeah, it's the exact type of modern Superman that we need than what we were getting before that. And I'm happy with it. I'm very happy with the Absolute Universe. It's reintroduced these characters in a way that so many people find themselves just fascinated again by, as if it was the first time these characters ever existed.
Yeah, I need to catch up on the some of the other ones I've been reading because they've some of them are weirder than others. The Absolute Martian Manhunter is unlike anything else. The Flash book and Green Lantern book also pretty weird what I've read, especially Green Lantern.
The Green Lantern one is just so fucking philosophical in in so ways that I'm like, what, what? How does that? Oh, sorry, what? And then there's a mention of them in. I forgot to mention that in the during the Brainiacs meeting. Somebody mentions them, the Green Lantern
That's true.
people.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to, hold
Yeah,
on, let me
they
see if I can
they,
find
they
it.
mention Oa or something.
Yeah, like the people of Oa or some shit like that. What was it? Which issue was it? 9, I
There'd
think.
be 7. It'd be the
7.
yeah, because that was the Brainiac issue.
Oh, that's right, because it's actually in the Brainiac issue. Yeah, I'm trying to find the exact wording they use because there's a lot of hints at everybody else that exists in this world, and so he calls them the adepts of Oa. You should send your inquiries to the Black Stars, whatever that means,
Okay.
because we know that the other that all the colors are still around in Green Lantern, but we don't really know how they work. So it's fascinating, that whole thing. I don't really like. I don't truly understand it, but I'm trying to. Um, I need to catch up on the Martian Manhunter one. That one I'm trying to leave some together so I can just start reading them all at once, so I
Yeah.
don't get as confused.
I read the first issue and it's like, okay, I gotta wait till I can read several at once because this
It's
is
super psychedelic.
yeah.
Like I'm still having some trouble understanding it. And then and as I mentioned before, read Absolute Evil when you get a chance. It mentions you get introduced to some of the other characters that haven't been introduced, as well as just how powerful Raish might be compared to some others, as well as some hints at some stuff that will be happening maybe down the line of Superman or just maybe down the line of DC in general. So it's very good. It's a single issue for anybody who hasn't read it yet. So yeah.
Well, cool. And I guess that'll do it for our discussion of Absolute Superman issues 7 through 12. But I'm sure we'll find something else to talk about soon. I don't have any immediate plans for the near future. But Mike, if there's anything Superman related you think we should cover
Well,
soon, let me know.
did you want to talk about Peacemaker and what it might mean for the future of Superman?
Yeah, we can. But
No,
I think
that's
we
next time. Yeah.
yeah, I
I
think we
mean,
could do a show just on that, just of like
yeah.
so Peacemaker season 2 just ended, and they borrowed a few things from this year's Superman movie, and seems to be setting up a few things for the next on-screen appearance of Superman. So
Yeah, according to James, a lot of it will shape what will happen, not even just outside of Man of Tomorrow, but in some other future products. So yeah, and I have some speculation. So I'm sure you do as well.
okay, so we'll do some DCU talk next time, but
And then we'll
also
just
look
make up our own James Gunn lies.
yeah, we're see what
James Gunn has a painting in his office that keeps him from being fired from things.
yeah, he has a picture of David Zaslav, the head of Discovery Warner. He has like a picture of David Zaslav in a dress, doing something inappropriate that he doesn't want anyone to see the light of day. And as long as James Gunn is in possession of that, he will remain CEO of DC Studios. So
Exactly.
we'll have even more James Gunn lies next time. So come back for that. But until then, as always, keep it super.